Happy apocalypse, everybody. Hope everybody is having a lovely afternoon this Friday. Just a few more minutes here, and we'll start rolling into some more of the settings. Well, not really settings. I think we'll just get right into play. We're gonna die a few times, so just a few minutes here. Still setting up some background stuff. All right, I think the sound's good. Make sure that our music volume isn't too bad. Little notch. All right, let's get into it. So what we're doing is we're going solo really CDDA. Now I've already uploaded one of the my playthroughs, but pretty well. Dee she just has really good RNG, but we're not playing her today. Instead, we're doing something a little bit different. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go through each one of these as we die and attempt to make it to certain checkpoints throughout the game. That way, then we can kind of get an evaluation of what really is better, fire officer versus, say, lumberjack. Both of them can move through the forest. You get strength and some fitness here, but with fire officer, you kind of get the same thing, but you also get sprinting with them. So, I mean, there's some trade-offs, of course. But without further ado, let's go and get into it. We got X, and we're gonna do. Oh, what should we build the fire officer as? Thinking we keep it more kind of lore heavy or sensitive in a way where fire officer will give them what a fire officer would actually have. So let's start from the most expensive traits. So we know he's going to be strong, but that's 10 points. I don't know if we can really afford that right off the gate. Same with athletic. But we know that he's going to be strong, so we're going to go ahead and take strong. Got 10 points. Let's see if there's something we can start countering with that before we start up just dumping a bunch of these positive traits in. We really don't want to load ourselves down with a bunch of negative traits just to make the easy, just to make the first week of the game easy. I mean, it could be obese, and that's why it could be a former fire officer. But then, of course, that's directly against that. So let's go half the points, so 5 or 6. Start with overweight. Maybe you got a little bit of overweight, and while he was at home partying and naked when all this went down. So with overweight, we can knock that trade off later on. It's gonna be make the initial beginning a little bit rough because of the lower fitness there. So let's see if we can get either a fitness boost. We still have these 4 negatives, so let's see if we can get those off before we start dumping in. Smoker, that one we're gonna go and take. That's an easy pick right now. We're gonna go with Handy because we know that he's, you know, he knows construction. They should know how certain buildings are built, support structure and whatnot. So we're gonna go with Handy. Gives us a -8. Let's see if we can balance that -8 back out. And we do have the only cure, so we can amputate our extremities, which it's hand and upper arm. And you can start with amputation and get a +20 for some points, but that we'll go through that challenge another day for sure. All right, we're gonna go with Neat Freak because usually fire officers they have some discipline. It's almost like military to a degree. I like to keep everything clean. Everything has to be organized. So with that, we're gonna go with organized. Oh, we don't need that right off the bat. We got -2. There's something easy and quick we can grab off that. The reason I like to build up this way is so you don't click a bunch of these up and you're like, all right, I got the super character. Now I gotta pick all these horrible traits and now I'm stuck with them with the rest of the game. But I could have kind of unlocked some of the stuff that this stuff offers. Like Hunter adds some skills as far as trapping recipes and whatnot, as well as a boost for all of that stuff. However, it's I don't think it's really worth it for 8 points right off the bat, especially when you can get thick skin, knowing that you're going to be running through trees and hordes of zombies. There's that it doesn't bother me much, and we're going to go with he's a bit older, so maybe that's partly why our fire officer is a retired fire officer. Now we're back at 0, so let's go and pick something useful again. Former scout's nice, but again, it kind of falls into do we really need it right now? Same with fast learner. I'm gonna go with gymnast and give him that nimble boost, because once you get to level 5 or 6, you start walking backwards as fast as the Zeds are moving forward, which that's very helpful, especially if we're going to be building up axes. We got -5. Let's counter that -5. I would not recommend liquid blood in CDA unless you or CDDA unless you really want to punish yourself. Go with high thirst and give us an extra 1. There's plenty of water, and if we find a cooking pot and a fire kit with a way to start a fire, water is infinite at that point. So instead of spending 1 on 1, actually, let's see. We have any other negative traits that we really want to deal with? Restless sleeper is going to make it very hard getting rid of that cold early on. Pure blood, you're going to be in a state of panic a lot. There's not much more I don't want to fight with. You're gonna go with weak stomach because there's plenty of bathrooms around. That gives us 4. So if there's another negative. Also, we don't plan on eating any bad berries. We're eating unknown berries. We're already at the end of our game. But sometimes you eat a berry that you hope is not a bad berry, and it gets you through. Same with the mushrooms sometimes. If we grab 2 on the sensitive digestion, same thing with the overweight. We already have to lose some weight. Yeah, we're gonna go with sensitive digestion because that goes with weak stomach. You know, the two go hand in hand. Same with overweight and smoker. I think I think we found our reason why our fire officer retired. So we have 6 points, and not really any more negative traits that we want to juggle with. We're going to jump up here to our positives, look for our 6. A lot of these I haven't really messed with too much yet, but they are part of the lifestyle mod. We're going to grab outdoorsman, because outdoorsman and fire chief kind of work pretty well together. Same with outdoorsman. Oh no, I'm sorry. What I'm thinking of is outdoorsman or outdoorsman, lumberjack, and park ranger. Park ranger and lumberjack, those are the two that they just brisk right through the woods. And if you have outdoorsmen with them, you can basically live in the woods and run from anything. You don't even have to build a house or a base. So we got our 4 points. We go with dexterous. That way we can grab up some whatever early loot we see very quick. We don't want to grab that because we're going to be hungry. We'll go with wakeful for the last 2. Maybe. Oh, we only have 2 points. So yeah, we're going to go with wakeful. That'll help us stay awake longer and keep moving. So here we go. High thirst. We're going to need more water. But again, once you have a bucket or some type of pan and a fire source, water is infinite. Sneak freak. We're not too worried about that because most of the places that we're going to be spending the night in is fairly clean most of the time. Overweight, like I said, we just have to once we get rid of our cold, then we can start working on reducing that weight to get that fitness point back. I think it's once your character is 82 or lower or 80 or lower. Smoker, I have a most smoke smod, which I really enjoy. Adds a little flavor to the game. You can grow tobacco and cannabis, and then also make some cannabis treats. And like I said, weak stomach and sensitive digestion, those two kind of go back together for an easy 5. We just won't eat anything raw or potentially poisonous unless we absolutely have to. And like I said, there's plenty of bathrooms. And if we have to, we can just go outside. Sensitive digestion, definitely not going to worry about that because we have that overweight. We're not going to be overeating. Nearsighted, just have 2 or 3 pairs of glasses in your inventory or your bag and a couple at base and 1 on your face. And this is real easy to manage, especially when you go forging. Make sure that you have a pair of good prescription or reading glasses before you do that, or you're going to miss out on a lot of stuff. Like I said, we picked this that way we can get that early loot faster. Outdoorsman, because we're going to be starting off naked and most likely running to the farmhouse naked. We got wakeful so we can get a little bit more looting through. We wanted to get that lightfoot nimble with the gymnast, handy and handy and strong for the strength and the faster construction. And so that way we can already get our 1 point plus our bonus, so we can start getting those planks and nails real early on with the stone hammer. So I usually play Daisy Dallas through my CDAs to kind of keep track of my what videos are for what. But for this one, we're gonna go with Jack Springington. And let's hope we don't get completely just crushed by RNG. Usually when I play this one through, he does usually get pretty good with him, but not as lucky as Dee Dee, which she has her own little mini series that's going on where she's going to be searching for the giant spiffle plush, as well as the authentic Z mod adds a hit list. So you find a piece of paper that has pictures of some of the unique zombies, and you go find them throughout the world. You take them out, and then you mark them off your list. So we're gonna. That's her overall goals and quests. For this run, we will be mostly surviving to get as far forward in progression as we can. Just that way we can get a better feel of what's around the area. Why is it that everybody goes north instead of west? And kind of dive a little bit deeper into the mechanics of the game. So I didn't really have a whole lot of time, and I didn't have the forethought of coming up here to load up the game and then exit it, so that way we don't have this long loading screen on this first one. But it takes a minute for the mods to load up, the maps, and then once that's done, like once our character dies, which it's going to happen, when we get back to this loading screen, it'll be much quicker. It's just this initial one. And with that said, if you're interested in playing Project Zomboid but don't really have the funds to buy a gaming PC, I found a really cheap refurbished Dell desktop on Amazon for I think it was like $99. I had to find a monitor for it. However, it has been able to play Project Zomboid fairly well. Handles a lot of the different mods. All right, so here we go. Maybe. There's RNG table. Everybody loves. Not sure what's going on with my sound at the moment. We're not going to go in there. We're just going to go and head north. This fire burnt out some. Don't need a music book. All right, and here comes the great run to the farm. Because if we come over here, you'll notice still a little laggy at the moment. And sometimes it takes my computer to load up. How's that? He's walking so much faster than me. All right, let's load up a little bit more. I said usually some of these first runs are rough because of this load-in. I don't think my computer can really handle the streaming and the play. There we go. Nope. Well, we're just gonna slowly make our way north. Hopefully you haven't been bitten, and we have. That's okay. We're just gonna go and run this a little bit. Let the game load up. Get bitten a few times. And then when we load back in, we will see how everything's working. And if it's still flaky like this, I may have to pause for a minute and adjust some of my streaming settings. I'm gonna go ahead and hit new character real quick. Just do random and do a test run real quick and see if our settings need to be altered. Especially with that fire, it's probably running it a little rough. Yeah, we're definitely gonna have to adjust some of our streaming settings. I do apologize. However, this is our first go at it. I just went with random, and I'm not even. Oh, we got thin skinned. I found that if you move through the trees to kind of zigzag as if you're like walking through some shrubs, they do make it through a little bit quicker. The scratch rate's a little bit lower. But if you just run straight through them, then that's where a lot of the scratches happen. And this little sprint dash is pretty OP. There's the foot or leg. Yep, right foot. Oh, there's our thigh. He's losing blood pretty quick, which means Good. I mean, it's not too bad of a random roll on the traits that we started with. However, once that blood level is below the thumb, it's hard fighting hard fighting the Zeds. Sorry. But if we keep running this way, a lot of you are familiar with that farmhouse. And there goes the other foot. Looks like he's wearing pants, but as you see in the inventory, he is not. Oh, it's a nice try. Let's go and give ourselves a full restart there. So we're still rolling, still loading. All right, I think I'm gonna have to adjust some of my streaming settings in order for us to run a little bit smoother here. Just bear with me here for just a moment. All right, we'll see if that smooths that some of that out. All right, let's see if we can remember what it was. Strong, handy. Gymnast. I remember that one. And I think the last one or two, wakeful and outdoor. Now our negatives. Overweight, high thirst, smoker, weak stomach, and sensitive stomach. Not that sensitive to weather. No, thank you on that. Headache when it rains. No, we want water to drink, not headache. Elements. What were the other ones that I grabbed? Meat freak, that's what it was. Alright, we're going to save that for fire officer, CDDA. Let's give Jack another try. Wasn't really fair for him that things just weren't loading properly. There's that quicker, faster start screen. Hopefully we're not lagging. You know, I started with a can of mushroom soup anyways. That's a little bit better. Except for that table. Looking plot, I'll take it. Sometimes we have time to pick this up. Drop it back behind it. Oh, on fire. And I don't think, yeah, Jack just isn't all that lucky in this run. First lag, then the fire. 11 minutes 52 seconds. Let's go ahead and mark that for Jack. Rerun that and see if we have bad RNG on him again. That one's just rough. You don't even have time to pick up the table and set it down before the square you're standing on is catching fire. Other alternative is you can sprint through the fire, which sometimes you can get through a handful of tiles by sprinting without catching a burn. Well, as you've seen outside, there was a fire outside. So if you're sprinting the 2 or 3 tiles it takes you to get out there, and you sprint onto one of those tiles outside that's on fire, you're catching a burn. You're lucky if it's only the hand, but if it's a foot, then it's kind of crippling your run out the gate. All right, let's go and move forward with this. These are 2 other ones that I like to run with for my CDDA and a couple of my other little challenges. This curl one is a little OP as well. we're not gonna play with as that one and my lumberjack. So with the outdoorsman, it's just you gotta grab that one, especially playing park ranger or lumberjack. I didn't grab it here because it's 2 points and I have a trait purchase system. The plan on that was to earn the points to purchase that outdoorsman for him. Let's go with Jack again and just kind of show you guys how, kind of at the start, just how bad RNG really could be. And as I'll say in many of my videos for the upcoming, is I truly believe it has something to do with what you name your characters. It's almost like a seed map. Could be first name, last name, or could be a combination of both. Because Dee Dee, she always gets like top tier loot. She gets to the farmhouse. There's always enough there to sustain her. On top of that, she has found an M16 there, like first day at the farmhouse, and half the house is like untouched by the fire almost all the time. We'll take the empty mug to carry some water. Don't really want the mouse, but we're gonna grab it for right now. Jumping on a zombie. See if we can move this table. Oh, he didn't pick it up. Come on, pick it up. He's not picking it up. Let's go dash. Okay, you didn't catch a fire that time. Go and see if there's a useful book in here. I usually don't grab curtains, but lately I haven't had much luck as far as finding a Zed at the house, the farmhouse that is. We're just gonna bandage that up and get moving on north. All right, so some people would be like, "Oh my God, it's foggy. This sucks." This is actually a very helpful start right here with zombie or with fog. As long as you can get some distance from them, you won't have as big of a line right off the start. So you have a higher chance of pulling just one by itself somewhere to get some shoes. We're going to go ahead and just go and sprint our diaper wearing butt out of here. Something happened though. What just happened? Nothing. Okay. So he's got a pretty good lunge and run going on. We should be able to drop this group pretty quick, get to the farmhouse pretty quick. It's colder than what it normally is because of the fog. We're probably going to catch a jump scare running through the woods right here, but that's okay. As long as our blood loss doesn't drop below our thumb, but since we got that bandage on early, we can afford ourselves a lot more time. But if the house is on fire and you just can't get out of there in time, just run. You can make it to the farmhouse most of the time with just running and not grabbing anything, with the exception of food. If you don't grab any food and there's no food at the farmhouse, you're very hard pressed at that point. At least at this point, we can just slowly walk our way up that way. We don't have to keep sprinting because, again, this fog, it's a curse and a blessing at the same time. But we do want to keep sprinting, even with this exhaustion, because of the hypothermia. You just walk, you just keep getting colder and colder, but if you run, you build up a little bit of body heat. It's going to be a little tougher fighting against the fog. Yeah, if you spawn in and if you're one of those where you look at your starting location or your starting situation, you're like, man, there's no way you can get out of this. With a few little tricks, you can definitely get out of there. Like if we had more time, and most likely when wait, is that a car right there? No. What is a car doing all the way out here? That's just bait. That is bait for my sticky fingers. What I tell you, as soon as I walked over here, I scratched my foot. And nothing useful for us at the moment. Although, I don't even think if we broke the window, we can open the door. We'll give it a try though. We don't have time. Okay, John, and let's get to the farm. I think I need to go that way. That was not bait. That was telling me I'm going too far out of the way. Exactly. Way too far out of the way. So if you get to an area that looks like this little dirt road or side road, then you definitely want to go to the west of it. Because there's the lake over to the, I'm sorry, over to the west is the lake, just a small one. And the farmhouses, see right there to the right. The more you run around on the map in this general area, the more you'll get used to exactly where you need to go or how to get to where you need to go. Our first stop is going to be this little shed over here. If we can find a metal pipe, or really anything that we can use as a weapon, then that'll make clearing the farmhouse that much easier. I'll go in here. I don't think the pliers are going to be useful for us. See, there's that metal pipe. I'm going to grab that as primary. Mark on the map that torch, that propane tank is here. I want to take the wood glue. Yeah, there's not much more to take right here, right now. I'll leave the screws and propane tank and pliers. That's more after we get our metal working up. All right, let's hope that there is a zombie in here. I hear the door. that one's boarded up. What is going on here? Oh, there we are. Shoes. There we go. It's going to take our time and get dressed. Do a little bit of cross-dressing for a minute. It's okay. Skirt isn't necessary cross-dressing. It's more of a regional thing. We got the belt. That'll help carry some nice stuff if we can find it. Pants are better than what I've got going on now. I'm going to rip that dress up. Get rid of the mouse. Check the radio. We want to check the radio, make sure we turn it off. It is off, and snack that battery. If there's anything in this corner room. Those shoes are probably better than what I've got on. Yep, I have a hole in mine. We got pretty good, decent grab on some clothing. Not the best. It's definitely better than nothing. I took a drink from down to here. Pretty sure there's a window to that other bathroom. I'd probably come up behind her. Oh, the board is gone. Pretty sure there's only one in here. So a metal bar. Don't want to run the durability on it. Take those because those are nice. That's it. Yep. I was just about to say, always tweezers here. And a bandage. That's pretty nice. Well, that'll help with some of the healing. And painkillers? No way. No way. Look at all those good pills. Alright. Let's go through the process of getting this glass out with tweezers instead of a bare hand. Because we know that the farmhouse is always good to us. And we can disinfect with cologne. And put a real bandage on. Alright, this is a pretty nice start. I like it. We're going to get ourselves all cleaned up here before we go upstairs and finish clearing up the house. And clean up all of our rags so we make sure that we have nice clean stuff to work with. I like that you can use the cologne to disinfect your wounds, but you can't disinfect the rags, which would have helped with the healing ticks on that wound, but it is what it is. Better than nothing. Another bandage, that's really nice. I can swap between the two. Another set of tweezers. And now we can tell time. I don't know the temperature, but knowing what time it is very helpful, especially when we want to move to the next location. We'll get to the next location before dark. Man, all these pistols. I'm not going to worry about pistols though. Alright, so we seem pretty clear up here. Make sure there's no clothing I missed. Still feels a little naked here. Let's see. That. Gotta find a way to open up those cans. I'm dumping this stuff because at 14:30, I'm pretty sure I can just go raid that little farm place just to the north and find a few better things to make our night a little easier. Keep our mug so we don't get thirsty, of course, because of our high thirst. Double check down here, see if there's anything that we can eat right now. Doesn't look like it at the moment. So if we find a screwdriver or something else similar sharp, at least we won't starve. But with this place being just right up to the north here, we should be able to hit it for something, hopefully a can opener, and get back before it's too dark. Pain pills will help with sleeping through the night instead of waking up prematurely, so we can get a nice fresh start in the morning. And the idea is just to run in and run back out. We really don't want to exert ourselves trying to fight off any Zeds, especially just to get a little bit of clothing that's most likely ripped. Well, we will turn around and knock them down real quick. There's another one in here. There's a back window to this one. I can just, if it's, oh, it's too fast there. There we go. Mostly just looking for a can opener or a lighter. And some white chocolate. Oh, no, 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 no. That is not good. Oh, no. And that's what you get for button spamming. And being greedy, I should have just took my white chocolate and jumped out the back and took off. But without finding a screwdriver or something to open up that can, or any of those cans, kind of had a rough start anyways, as usual with Jack. I want to take a short little break here. Leave you with the nice title screen to listen to for a minute, but I will return in just a moment. Alright, I am back and ready for another run. So once again, I'm going to pick same traits and everything, same individual. We'll see how the RNG goes, of course, but I don't have much faith when it comes to Jack and the CDDA mode. All right, Jack. Let's see what luck you've got. Maybe you should throw the lucky trait on Jack, and maybe you won't have such horrible demon table luck. At least you got a lighter refill. There's that nice little sprint. So we are just going to take this fishing to, we're going to take those real quick. 20. Just going to casually make our way through. Instead of just trying to run. We're going to get ourselves nice and warm even before we leave the house. Since we've got the fire to keep us warm, we got the fog to keep us concealed, curtains for days to make sheets, or make ripped sheets. Well, why would you want to leave? It's just so cold out there. I'm going to grab fishing too. Maybe we'll sit down and read for a bit. This is the warmest start that Jack has had yet. I bet you there's a how to generators down in this mailbox. Nope, nothing. Let's go and leave before Jack gets too popular. Now you're living up to your name, Jack. Jack Springton. Let's just go and sprint on out of here. You know how to maneuver through the trees. About 1 in 7, you'll get a nice, good, healthy start. Is that just a gun? Yes, it is. Much as we'd like to use the guns, it does make things easier but harder at the same time. This time we're running a little bit more north, so we don't overshoot the farm so bad. We're just gonna go this way. Might be the wind blowing those, but we avoid the moving trees. You're less likely to pick up a line this deep into the woods. But I do hear him behind me, so we're going to travel slightly away from the destination we want to go. And then we'll cut back to the right. Just that way we don't get a Congo line following us to the farm. Give us a little bit more time to actually like sit and decompress a little bit there. I don't know why I do that all the time lately. Like I run straight towards that lake off to the left when I should be going to the farm to the right. That's probably why lately the farmhouse has been really quiet at night and the following day on a lot of my runs lately. There's a sign, we're at the farm. We could see any tents hanging around. If you're wondering why I keep rerunning the same CDDA, it's because of the random generation of where things are going to spawn where. And what I'm running through is what places are really dependable to run to, no matter how your run starts off. Like you can run to the farmhouse completely naked without a bandage and still make it another 2 or 3 days just by getting to the farm. So there's really no need to fight your way around the house or the house across the street or try to hold that area. We're coming up to the shed. I like the shed. You usually find a decent weapon in there, like a metal pipe. I'm really excited when there's a saw in there. I was just about saying the generator. There's a high chance of generator spawning in here, and there's a saw. Makes me so happy. And a screwdriver. Wow. We're gonna leave the screws because we don't have use for them right now until we again get our metal working up. But this was nice. A screwdriver and a saw. I would normally use the screwdriver as a weapon, as like a last resort type thing, but on these runs, the screwdriver is sacred. You don't use it as a weapon just to lose it. Shelves look empty, which that's not good. Usually there's some good books and magazines in here. We're just gonna do the old push over and stomp if we come across anything in here. Actually, let's see if there's a rolling pin or frying pan. Knife is a knife is a knife, I guess. Get something not so ripped up. I'm looking at insulation right now. Those have 2 holes. If the tweezers are in here or the other bathroom. They're almost always in the front bathroom or upstairs, or both upstairs and front bathroom. There's tweezers in here. We're getting that shard out. Bottle of disinfectant. That'll help with the healing ticks. Rubber duck. Edie would love that, so we're just going to place that right here on the sink. In case she comes by, she can grab that. Just always give yourself wide berth around the corners. There's no need to hug him. No tweezers. That is looking a little rough. Also, with the screwdriver, we can open up canned food. So give me a. Why is that window broken? That must mean that there are Zeds around, possibly, or that's already been broken into. I mean, there's nothing to be looted. Maybe a blue pin. Yeah, those broken windows is not a good sign for grabbing good loot. This time what we're going to do is we're going to get our health up before we even leave. And at least when they looted the house, they didn't take the battery out of the radio, hopefully. In a dark world, batteries are gold. We'll start off in here with our water usage. Looks like we're going to be pulling this shard out by hand. That's okay. Disinfect the wound and a rag, and put our sterilized on. Rip up some more of these for some more bandages. Chili and tomato paste. Wanted to make sure this is actually a lighter. This lighter refill, so I don't know if that's a lighter or not. It's a shame that last run we had so many goodies. We just didn't really have a really good way to feed ourselves. Just like now, wait, oh, all right, we still have our full hunger, which is nice. We're warm now. Now we're gonna rest. Maybe meditate, keep ourselves occupied. I'm really enjoying the lifestyle mod where you can meditate, do yoga, learn how to play music. Really helps for these in-between times. But we still need to find some glasses because of the nearsightedness, but our strength is amazing. We've got something to work towards for fitness, along with a bunch of others. We need to finish washing up everything. As always, rags come before clothes. Body comes before clothes. We just got our V-neck to wash. Oh, we had some tomato paste, but I think we already ate that, didn't we? Yes, we did. Go finish up using the water down here. It is a shame we don't have any more food. A little too dark to really make it over there successfully and back. So we are instead going to hang out in our favorite bedroom over here. Equip our screwdriver just so that we get that glass out of there. So by chance something comes in at night, we can pop over here and scooch out. Which, interesting enough, I do believe this window is glitched out where if I jump out, I'm going to fall down into the interior downstairs without taking much damage. But here we go. Let's see if this works still. Yes, it does. See very little damage, and we can get out the door. Instead, we're going to remove this broken glass. So if we have to use that little glitch to get out of here, pretty easy. Since we do have a screwdriver, we're going to pick this up, disassemble it. Might as well work on some electrician. Get a point in that so that way we can hotwire some cars when we come across them. I know that's more of a pipe dream than reality for this mode. Car that you just have to hotwire and you can take off with it. And there's not much more to disassemble up here. But yeah, that's a really useful jump out the window. You're still inside, and you can hop out that front window or run to the front door or back door. You get a little bit of reaction time. Whereas right here, as they come through, you have a little bit of fighting. Not much all around, but you got a little bit of fighting. Get a nice good look of our surroundings. There's bedroom without a broken window. There is not. We're gonna run around for a minute, get our heat back up, temperature. Right, you equip that so we don't accidentally use that as a weapon and lose it in a fight. All right, we're gonna go ahead and rest to get the overall exertion off. Beat us up here. All right, we're a little tired, but not tired enough to sleep. And I always use the water downstairs first. Open that up. Because when it gets dark, it gets dark. And you don't want to have to walk all the way down here to get a drink of water with high thirst because you used all the water upstairs. Six units still in there. Let's go get ourselves warmed up again. I always try to do this little cheat right here, which if they take a bubble bath, and it allows them to actually do it. I don't know why it won't let him. It will lower his temperature, but you get a bunch of comfort noodles. I do believe help with removing that nasty cold, which should be gone by now, but I didn't get enough food to be well fed to really pop it off. You know what I mean? There's our hunger noodle. At this point, I really want to go up there and do it, but I know that we don't have time. We're just going to speed up time and get through the night, so first thing in the morning we can run up there and grab that. Hopefully some food on the little farm north of us. What we're going to do is wait till we're ridiculously tired. We'll try to meditate once we warm up. As long as we don't get the bored noodle, I think we'll be okay. If it's light enough to get downstairs and back, it is just barely. As you see, we're doing a little bit better with our running. The temperature is up. We're just slightly warm. Go ahead and do one round of yoga, because if we do too much, he'll be in too much pain, and then he'll just wake up way too soon. Let's speed it up here. I wish it wouldn't consume the bottle when you did that, so you can keep your disinfectant bottle and just pour water in it, kind of like you do with the bleach bottles. We got our stress moodle down. Which again, the yoga helps if you're a smoker. Obviously, we're not finding any cigarettes tonight. Another round of meditation. Release some of that boredom. Alright, so this time it's going to be too dark to go downstairs. So we're going to go to the bathroom in here, which is why I left the door open so we can just walk along the wall and hopefully enter. I think I might have closed the door. There it is. Out of habit. Go get a drink. Get our warmth back up. See, I don't think just running right into the corner works. You kind of have to go back and forth. I think they've fixed that because with Nimble, you used to just be able to walk and earn XP that way. But now there has to be a zombie around in order for more XP to actually happen. Otherwise, you have to walk so far and so long in order to try and get your Nimble up without it. Sit on the ground and just pass the time until he gets more tired. There it is. Too much pain, so I need ridiculously tired. Alright, just before we get ridiculously tired, in here real quick, grab some water, change this. Oh, don't need to change that. Oh, we're gonna use the toilet. I don't remember having toilet paper, so what is she gonna use as toilet paper? One of the sheets. Alright, let's get that temperature back up. We're ridiculously tired, but we do not want to go to sleep with a cold noodle. Excuse me for a sec. Okay. Now we're not losing that. That's okay. We're going to go pass time and sleep. Right, overtime. I do apologize. Really does help to know what time it is, so just how late in the day it is. Oh, I do apologize again. Allergies are horrible lately with this wind. Always make sure our rags are clean because we're not coming back here. We're out of here. It is light enough for us to move. Hopefully it's not too late in the afternoon. That's the other thing I keep forgetting. I'm overweight, so running around, I'm going to get exerted much faster. So our warm-up tool isn't quite as effective. Especially when we already have a group on us like that. Jeez. We just outrun them to the house and grab food and get out of there. Not even going to bother with this building just yet. I don't think we really need to be honest. All right, we're in. Metal pipe, nice. That's one of those things we were hoping for. Go and take that just in case. Look at that, can opener and food. Going to open that up now and eat it while we can. So don't start pounding soon. Don't need the aluminum foil right now. They're still hungry though, so that wasn't quite enough. It's safe to run out this. It might be safe enough to run in here and take a quick peek. I don't know if we'll actually be able to grab anything. That was our quick little peek, although I can swing around. There's nothing back here. Of course there is. We're just gonna go and get out of here. Head north. Taking one of them out, they might have a watch, which is very, very useful, but there's just too many of them. We cross the main road up here in a bit. There'll be some Zeds waiting around. We might get lucky and be able to pick them off, but we're going to go this way, so we make that group think that we are now traversing to the left instead of just north. speed here. We'll be coming up onto that paved road soon. Yeah, we're burning up some calories by running. We're down to 95, which I think starts at 97. Yeah, once we hit down there at that 80 threshold, then we'll lose that negative trait and gain a little bit of our fitness back. Nice. I just heard a meta event. Gunshot just went off, so that'll help stir up a little bit of zombies in a different direction than me. I'm getting close to the road. All the signs are there. A little more populated than usual, but quick scan pull. Cars there. Truck. I will swing by that truck and see if there's anything really useful in the bed, like a hammer or sledgehammer. I'm not gonna. Why? What? There we go. Nice. All right, we got the empty bottle. We got some twine. Between the amount of zombies and me streaming, live streaming, a little buggy. Make sure I did grab. Yeah, I did grab that water bottle, that twine. A little bit of that twine, I can make a fishing rod at some point if there's enough there. I'll cut to the north. I don't know if that's enough. At least now, once we find another sink, we take some water with us. Usually have a bucket, a pot, or a saucepan at some point. Is what I really like to carry on these runs. With that tissue, we're going to save that tissue for when we really need it, if we still have this cold. We're going to choose this little open space to rest for a minute. Just in case we have to fight something off. All right, there we go. So we'll check on the map. I think we're on track to hit some decent houses. That it depending on. I mean, it does feel like it's getting a little late, so those houses might offer some protection for the night. Yeah, it's definitely getting dark. Need to pick up the pace and pick up the temperature. We should be coming up to the power line soon, and then the edge of the farms. Yeah, between with the overweight and not having enough clothing, it's really a balance between running to stay warm, but resting so you can still fight. You're not overexertion. Yeah, we're gonna sit, but we're gonna replace our bandage during this rest break. They'll have a sterilized rag, which is really nice. It'll last quite a bit longer. I don't think we can really afford the time to really just rest. I think it's about 1700, driven by the shadowing on the trees. Ooh, I'm getting thirsty and hungry. If I keep dropping my well, I'm not carrying that much stuff, so that's not too big of an issue. But if your hunger drops too low, and you've got your inventory completely packed full, you'll actually start becoming over encumbered as you become more hungry and sick and all the negative moodles. Gotta be getting close to it. Right, this is the power line area. I think down here the power lines kick up, so I actually need to go this way. What did I cut? How did I cut my foot? I'm wearing shoes. Did I just put a hole in my shoe? Got 2 holes in my shoe. That's right. This one I grabbed zombies' shoes. Didn't loot them out. They came like that. It could be just us in the woods tonight if we don't find the edge of the farm soon. Before it gets too dark. We're going to do a little bit of foraging. Hope we find a chip stone and a branch. Make an axe. might be able to make a fire. We'll see if that's actually a lighter or not. Chipstone. Nice. Usually those are like so impossible to find for me. Now we just need a branch. But we're going to continue moving in the right direction. You ask and you shall receive. If you can get through this big one here. We're going to attempt to make a campfire. So we've got some light and we can see. I feel it's starting to get too dark. And I should have picked a smaller tree to go for. Okay, back to finding chipstone. That was informative. Don't try to cut a big tree with a stone hammer. Wish we can eat those, but we can't. Just need another chipstone, you know. Not like I wasted the one I found. And overexerted myself. And it's survival through a series of bad decisions. That was a bad decision. It's always greed that gets the best of you. I'll take the twigs. Maybe we can find another chipstone, and I think we still have a branch, don't we? Yes, we just need to find a chipstone, you know, because they're all over the place. I had to see what I was walking up to. I didn't quite recognize that. What we got here? Bug? Ooh. More twigs. I think maybe even a log. Like one single log. Get me through quite a bit of this pain. As it gets darker, it's going to become harder to find anything. I don't need any more twigs. I don't want to load up too heavy on those. I'll take another branch and make a spear out of that. Speaking of which, where is our metal pipe? Is that a, yep. I'm gonna attach that to our back. that a stone? Chipstone. Yes. All right, let's try this again without being greedy. Make a stone axe. This time we're going to cut something much smaller. What do we got here? Another pine cone. Oh. Yes. Not far. Not far. If there's a watch or something useful over here. If you're ready for combat, just in case. I think it was just a car accident. Now we can tell the time. We have shoes without holes. We're just going to take all this since we have the space for it anyways. For now. Digital watch. Of course, you got a key. Put your jeans on. It only had one hole. Okay. We're just going to hop in while it's upside down. And a totem map. We'll take the bandages. Oh, of course. All right. I don't think we're too far from something that we would need. Come up here and see if we can cut this tree down after we rest. If we can rest. All right, we're gonna rest up and then try to make this fire. It is late. We really need a fire soon. But all right, we're just too exerted to even cut down a tree. At least we're getting tired. All right, we need to cut something down right now. Oh, cut it down, cut it down. Oh, really? Why do we need to make a fire? Three planks, two logs. So we're gonna look around for some logs. First, I have a thought. If this car has any juice whatsoever, there's a key over there. We can start it and we'll have a heater. We have fuel. We have 0 battery. Oh. firewood, and probe around in the dark. Pull that, man. I don't think it will. There we go. I just need a log, you know, while I walk around in the middle of the dark. Although I do feel better if I'm right near this car. I can see the road. Might even be able to sleep in it. Let me grab the key, see if this works. Is it working? It's working. Oh my, yes. No, it's not. It's just working enough for me to warm up a little bit in here. That would have been really nice, though. Tired, but at least we're going to have a safe place to sleep for the night instead of sleeping on the ground. It'll block the wind chill up a little bit, but not enough overall. All right, let's see, where are we at? We have a nice hook this way, so we should be going up this way. It's kind of killing a little bit of time in the car because it's still dark outside. But I want to keep an eye on everything because I'm pretty sure I'm going to start losing health here soon. It's time to go. I need to warm up. I need to move. So I mean, now I'm becoming over encumbered. Oh, we don't want to drop everything. I want to get rid of a few things here so we have room in our inventory. All right. Well, you know what they say, early bird gets the worm. 4:10 in the morning. I don't think it's much more earlier than that to safely run around in the middle of the woods dark. All They're starting to lose health pretty bad. Map real quick. All right, there's the what I was talking about earlier, the power line area. Kind of a clearing. If we make it another 2 hours in game. Also see where this annotated map was got. Oh yeah, all in Louisville. A working car. Wow. We're only in Louisville. But I don't think we're going to be making it much further. We'll see though. We'll see if it goes down to that little sliver where it's like, no, we'll let you stay alive, but just on the cusp. Or like opening any canned food is going to kill you. Wish you can eat glue. Well, this was a nice run for Jack. He did much better than what he normally does. One day, 20 hours, one zombie. Good job. Good job, Jack. Really showed him that even if you avoid the zombies, you just gotta have your health up before you get going, and you just can't get enough food, then you end up like Jack here, middle of the woods, all by yourself. Well, this was fun. I hope you enjoyed the live stream here. I'm gonna wrap it up now. I'm gonna try to do some more live streams, like 2 or 3 of them a week, as well as run a couple story characters, keep up with their progress. So check out the journey of Dee Dee. That's Daisy Dallas. She has probably the best RNG luck, just the worst person to play her. That's the only bad luck she has is her controller. Well, thank you for joining me, and also thank you if you are watching this after. Happy Apocalypse. This is Zed Reckoning, signing off.